a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone number is 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they've got you covered.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and we'd be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leech Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leech Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to MIFA Live After the Whistle. If you are joining us today, just like always, drop an L in the comments for live, drop an R for replay. Guys, if you're a town out there, share it out to your Facebook pages. Make sure that people are out there. We want to hear from you while we're at these shows. We got some awesome guests today that we will introduce here in just a second. But before we get to the introduction of guests, just some MIFA news, and we will also share this out a couple of times today. But I believe, and we have a town rep here and MIFA executive board member, but the official start date of 7-on-7 games have been set. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What is the first official game? I believe it's the 23rd.
It'd be the 25th.
The 25th, Friday night. And locations have been set now. Is that correct?
Yes.
I may have said a secret too early. See, that's what you get here at Mife After the Whistle. You get some secrets that nobody else knows. What are our locations that we have?
Well, the locations that I'm aware of, and of course, nothing's for certain in Pee Wee football.
Because once it's on the radio, it's for certain.
Yeah. Okay. So by surprise, I didn't think we would be back, but we will be back at All Saints.
Oh,
Festival.
yeah.
That will be one location. The fine folks of Eaton Youth Organization will be hosting, and also Crowley will be hosting.
That is awesome. So if you're listening right now, maybe your child is not involved in 7-on-7, you played tackle in the fall, or maybe your town didn't get a team together. If you want something fun to do on Friday nights, come out to one of those locations. You'll see some awesome coaching, awesome kids, which is what MIFA is all about. Come out, visit with them, show your support to MIFA out there at one of those locations. And starts on the 25th. Have my notes here. And the championship tournament right now is scheduled for May the 6th.
Correct.
Obviously, we are in spring season, so weather permitting. I know last year we had some storms and stuff like that, so weather permitting. So that is our house cleaning business, just real quick, and I'll mention that again before the show ends. But today we have super special guests in today. They travel by horse and buggy. They told me because of the gas, since they were local. But it is the hometown folks, my hometown folks. The Burleson Elks are in the house today. And I wish I had a little button. I could have a bunch of people cheering and hollering and stuff. Don't get me wrong, guys. I have loved talking to other towns, but I mean, this is Burleson, right? We're here. We're right here in Burleson. And so start to my right and go around the table. We have a couple of our board members here. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do on the board. And then we'll fill in, Ms. Cherry, if you'll fill in the people that are missing today so our audience knows who's not here with us.
Well, I'm Andy Barrett. I'm the vice president of the BBTC Youth Football and Cheer.
I'm Kevin Craig, and I'm the town rep and one of the louder town reps.
One of the latter everything. My name is Cherry Craig, and I am the secretary and cheer director. Our board also consists of Kim Stone, who is assistant cheer director in my right hand. We have Brandon Ferguson, who is our webmaster genius. Bobby Martin is our president, and Justin Whitehead is our football director.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish those guys could have been here with us today. I know Justin texted in and, he had this little thing called work come up, and I guess we forgive him for that. And then Kim, who's an educator, which a couple of educators are sitting here today, always makes me kind of uncomfortable because I wasn't the best in school. And so when I get around teachers, I get a little nervous, But Kim texted and said with spring break coming, she wasn't able to make it today. So miss other people. And my name is Michael Moore. I'm also on the Burleson board as our treasurer. So, but today I am hosting the MIFA show. So what I'd like to do is, one of the things that I found really cool about Burleson. So give a quick background story. I never knew the Burleson Elks existed. Shame on me. I mean, we know about Burleson High School, but I always thought Burleson football was the BYA Raiders. Until I believe you were here that day, and we were in Academy, and you had a sign-up table set up in Academy. And, my son, Preston, he was like, Daddy, I really want to play football. My wife was totally against playing football. So she was on the other end of Academy, right? And, I thought, well, maybe I just better ask for forgiveness and permission first. Kind of walked over to the table. Coach Kevin was there. And as fast as I could, filled out a form and signed him up. And I will be honest with you, I thought I signed him up to play for BYA. And obviously practices and all that started. I realized that it wasn't BYA, and obviously I've fallen in love with this organization. But as I come to know it, you guys are actually, should say we are, but the oldest organization in Burleson for youth football. Is that correct?
By far the oldest organization.
Tell us the history.
Well, I moved to Texas from Florida, which I moved to Florida from Pennsylvania. But I moved to Texas kind of late in the game as far as Burleson Boys and Girls Club goes. And I moved here in 2004.
Okay.
And at that time, BYU didn't even have football at that time. It was just the Elks. Kevin can probably really chime in on that part because he had a son playing at that time. But before that, the Burleson Boys and Girls Club was more than just football. They had a big indoor metal building. Those of you that have been out to our facility, that big concrete slab. That was a metal building. And inside they had a boxing ring, Golden Gloves boxing, and I think they had basketball courts and among other things. I can't say for sure. These are just things I've heard, because when I moved here, they had been long gone, because apparently there was a fire that took place in the 80s and there was an issue with insurance and, nonprofit, and comes down to that's why the building was never rebuilt there. And so it just, what remained was football all through it, because you didn't need a big giant metal building to do football. So the Burleson Boys and Girls Club was doing football and cheer all the way through there. I have friends that I met when I moved to Texas that are in their 50s, and they have little Letterman jackets from the 1970s.
Wow.
where they weren't called the Elks back then. It was the Pirates, and one of them was the Colts.
Huh.
If Justin was here, he could chime in on that, because he was one of those players.
I knew Justin was too old. I knew it. I knew it.
Really old. The silver fox.
See, we get to make fun of him. He's not here. So, Coach Kevin, you obviously know a lot about the history and all that stuff. So, tell us what you remember about and the growth, right? Because you guys have had a kid that have come through the organization and now is just signed. Can I say signed to play in college? I mean, that's sick, right? I mean, that's what you do this for, and that gets me so giddy because my oldest is 11. And I've told these guys I love watching their Facebook stories when he was going out, and I'll let them share his name if they want to. But he was posting visits here, and you guys were traveling for visits, and I've seen pictures of him playing. So you've been around a long time.
I've been coaching with the Elks since about 2003. My oldest son is 27, and he went through, except for his first 2 years, he actually played for a team called the Bulldogs. But then he came into, we found out about, just like you, I had a hard time finding out about them. They didn't really advertise, but I came to really love the organization, and I've just been helping them for years without even being a part of the organization. I've been coaching without a kid on the team for years, and I just enjoy it.
So, Ms. Jerry, tell us about your son, if you would. Tell us about him. Tell us how the college trips and how. Because, I mean, you're the one that I know a lot of parents say this, but I know for a fact your kid went through Pee Wee and now is about to go play in college. What's that like?
Right. Well, I started with the BBGC in 2012. That's the year that Kevin and I got married. And I always joke with him and Andy about he was a real good recruiter because he married me just for my son, which, not true at all. But it was just one of those things that God worked out for us.
The perfect age.
Yeah. Because we were living in Mansfield at the time and we played over there. But Caden started here as a third grader, and he is a senior this year, and he will be playing for Texas Lutheran down in Seguin, and he'll be a Bulldog there.
Okay,
we're very proud of him. His hard work.
That is awesome, and hats off to you guys as parents too. I mean, that's really cool to see. And so once again, guys, if you're joining us, we got the Burleson Elks in house today, and talking a little bit about Burleson here. If you have questions for them, please drop your questions in. And if you don't have questions, just drop an L for live so we know. And if you have watching it later, drop an R for the replay. Make sure you guys are sharing it out. So let's talk about the kids. We went through COVID, right? And I remember distinctly, some of our COVID meetings that we had. We really didn't know how it was going to affect us, and I feel like we came through pretty blessed. How many kids we running right now in the organization between cheer, flag, and youth football?
So, tackle football, we're in between 150 and 160. Another 24. This is going by last year's now. Obviously, we hope to grow this year. We had 2 flag teams, which had about 12, 13 kids on it, probably 25 kids, and then cheer.
Well, that's what I was going to kind of say. I took over as cheer director 2 years ago. So 2020 was my first year to come on as cheer director. I'd been a cheer coach in the past, been a mom, worked in concessions, all that. My goal was, because with COVID, we had no idea what numbers we were going to get. And I was like, please give us at least 25 girls. 25 girls will be a great thing. We ended up with 51 that first year. And last year we grew to 77 girls. Man. So we're, climbing up there.
And I know you do a lot for the cheer. You've probably even heard me in other shows. I brag on you guys a lot. And we'll talk about the cheer here in just a second. But the unique thing is just sitting at this table, the longevity. I mean, just, quick math through here. We've got 25, almost 30 years that combined, you guys have been here, maybe even 40. And I know Bobby's been here a long time. I know Justin's been. I mean, if you combine the years between you guys that have been around here, it probably equals about 100 years total if you added it all up that you guys have been. And that's unheard of, right? And you know, I know boards turn over all the time and stuff like that, but that goes to show its successes in Burleson, because the reality of it is Burleson has been successful. You know, I didn't realize how successful it was till we walked in, and you know, we seen the banners and stuff like that, and you know, we try to get to where all of our coaches succeed and things of that nature. And one of the successes is you've been building that cheer program. And one of the things that I found unique about our cheer program that I personally haven't seen other towns do, maybe they do, and as they come on the shows, we'll talk about them. But you mix and match our cheer program. Is there strategy to that, or is it you just want to have accountability? What kind of explain how you put the cheer program together and how you can have some older girls and younger girls cheering together, and what the reasoning behind that is?
Well, I'll say I kind of inherited that one. Our former cheer director, Lisa Davis, did an amazing job. She sacrificed many years herself too, working with it. And it was the way, when I came into it, that's the way it always been done. And so we continued it. One of the things that I love about the Elks is we really become that football and cheer family.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things we look with our groups too. Our parents are already running in a million directions. And if you have multiple kids, multiple ages, that can, you know, just keep going. So one of the things we try to do is keep the families together on a team as much as possible. So if we have a cheerleader who has a sibling, then she is allowed to cheer for his team, or not dependent on her age. And so that's kind of the way we go with that one too. Of course, there's going to be some people that love it, some people that think that's just horrible. And one of the things I've heard Bobby say is we're not for everybody.
Sure.
We're going to do the best job we can, the best way we can, but you're never going to be able to please people 100% of the time. So we found what works for us.
Right.
And so that's kind of why we do it that way, is trying to keep those family units together. We make sure that, you know, we have our practices for our cheerleaders in the same place as our football, so they're not trying to run all over.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is, I would hope, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but I would hope that it's that way in all towns, because I can tell you that for my family in the couple of years that we've been in Burleson, I mean, we've now met friends for life, right? And you know, outside of you guys sitting here, but you know, like the Reyes, you know, my Preston and Ryan are really good friends, and Preston's other best friend, she doesn't play football. She's not a cheerleader, she's an actor. Her name is Rory Smith. She's like, please give me a shout on him there. But so there's your shout out, Rory. But you know, talking about families and things of that nature, like we've all made good friends, and I hope other organizations are that way. I'm gonna believe that they're that way for sure, as far as that goes. So I want to ask about something. Somewhat, I don't want to say it's controversial, but there is another youth football organization in Burleson, right? Man, you ask some people and it's like, we're rivals, we're competitive. You ask some people like, man, who cares? You know, to your point, we're not for them. What are some of the differences? I know, but for our listening audiences, you know, what are some of the differences that we do versus the Raiders? And not just, you know, coaching and stuff, but one of the things I know is really big is we try to stay all Burleson kids, right? So Andy, Kevin, any of you guys, what are some of the differences in our organization than BYA?
Well, we can talk about it. I know Steve is a fan of the show. He's
What's up, Steve?
Almost always commenting on stuff like that. But and shout out to Mike also. You know who you are. And yeah, those are the Raider guys, and they're good guys. And we've sat down with them many times. And you know, a lot of people said, just why don't you guys just merge? And you know, I think it's like with anything, you've got Coke and you've got Pepsi, and some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi, some people think they're the same. We're just, you know, we do things a little bit differently. They're in a different league than us. We think our league is better. You know,
right.
They probably think their league is better. We are, as far as owning our own property and having our own facilities, that makes us very unique from not just the Raiders, but from, you know, a lot of youth organizations. Most of the youth organizations are using school facilities, and we can talk about that in a moment.
Oh, we're going to.
I know you want to do that, but you know, they don't have that. They're also under the big umbrella of Burleson Youth Association. Burleson Youth Association does a fine job with basketball and baseball and a lot of other sports, and football is just one of their entities. We focus on just football and cheerleading. So that's another difference between us. But again, I don't think there's any animosity, no matter whether people think so or not. I mean, those are two good dudes that we've sat down with before. And you know, we have the same mindset. We're all for the kids. We all want to have a good program. We want to have, you know, the kids have a good experience. They're the same way. So just, you know.
And I'm glad you said that nicely. You know, but the reality of it is this, right? So this is after the whistle. We're talking, you know, the Raiders, and my stepfather was a coach for the Raiders, so I'm familiar with who the Raiders were. I grew up playing for the Raiders. That's why that's all that I knew was the Raiders. But we are more predominant Burleson kids, right? And that is a huge difference from what I understand from the way we are as a league. You know, we might have one or two kids, maybe three per team from another town, whereas the Raiders, they can pretty much play from anywhere. Is that right on their team? And I don't want to say anything about them, but I know that's a huge difference. Is we try to have a lot of just homegrown Burleson kids right here versus I know the Raiders have, you know, kids from all over. And I've actually talked to some of the Raider parents, and they love their kids, and they're great kids. They're like, yeah, we could never join you guys because we'd have to cut half our team. And
Right.
you know, MIFA rules state that you can only have, I think, what is it, 25% or 20%?
Yeah.
You can only have 20% from out of town, and it's for there. And so I know that's a big difference. And I want to pick up on what you said. So there have been talks about trying to join the two organizations together. I don't know that that's something that's ever going to happen. I know you and I and Jody Lacey, our old town rep, I know we had a dinner with Coach Kitna, and he from the high school, and he wanted to join up. And this is a good segue into the next part. And for you parents that are listening, you know, one of the things that we like to do here with MIFA After the Whistle is just be very open and honest about stuff. One of the things we struggle with in Burleson, I feel like sometimes our school district pushes us by the wayside a little bit, but yet all of our kids are in the school district because we are a non-for-profit. Last I checked, none of you guys are getting paid here as far as that goes. And I know that there have been times that we've needed a day like today. It is very cold outside. We've had some rain. I mean, thankfully it stayed away. Hopefully this is the last of old man winter. And I'll be honest, I'm sure Alito is listening. One of the things that I envy about Alito is, you know, Chad talked about their relationship with their school district, that, you know, if they need something, they're there. I know Springtown has a great relationship with their school district, that we've tried to pick up the phone and like, hey, we've got a bunch of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. Could we please use your indoor facility? And we've just been flat out told no.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. By the way, you bring up Springtown. Shout out to Kyle. I told him I'd give him a shout out.
What's up, Kyle?
We'll be seeing you in a little while here, I think. But Kyle's a good dude. He runs the program up there in Springtown. But yeah, we go to these other towns. We get to see a lot of other towns and organizations, and the access that a lot of these other towns have to their school facilities, it seems like almost, you know, unlimited. Jack up there in Mineral Wells, we went up there to meet with them on a Sunday. I guess there was a tournament basketball or something. They were just running their rec league games at the high school on a Sunday, and he had the key to the high school. I mean, in a nice high school, and he's just walking in and locking it up. And, you know, just, hey, Jack, just lock up when you're done, turn the lights out. I mean, that's you know, exceptional. I don't think we expect that, but there's been times where even recently, it's, you know, it's cold out. We're in the playoffs or it's raining, and can we get the indoor? We have 2 indoor facilities here. We have 2 high schools in Burleson, and we paid for 2 very expensive indoor football fields, and we can't get access to either of them. But at the same time, when there's a bowl game, even during COVID, there was a bowl game, and we're driving by, and here's a bus from some university in Louisiana or whatever, and they can get in there no problem. Why can the taxpayers, you know, who built the thing, not have access to it? Now, I can understand if there's a situation where we've come in there and made a mess of things. You know, we've disrespected the facility, we've trashed the place, broken stuff, and then it's, you know, we don't want you kids coming in here because we need this to be, you know, in good shape. But that never happened, and that's a frustrating thing, I think, for all of us as an organization, is what, you know, how do we get that access that these other towns have that we want so badly.
Yeah, and I know last year, and Kevin and Cherry, I'd like you guys to also comment on this too about using the facilities, because obviously your kid played at Centennial, right? And for a good long while, and got to use those facilities. And that's one of the things that, last year BISD did let us rent, I'll just call it some grass full of ant beds and stuff like that to help us with our practices, because while we do own our own field, 155 football players, 75 cheerleaders, another 50 flag, I mean that's hard to practice on. And what I found amazing last year, and once again, if someone from the BISD school is listening, I'd love to have you guys come on the show and talk about it, but we're trying as a youth facility to give the best to our kids. And I don't know if the Raiders get to rent the facilities. I know they play their games at the facilities, but we couldn't even get on the old high school that's now the collegiate school field that's toward. They wouldn't even let us on that field to practice. It's a little bit better grass, and we were even paying to rent. And I remember that sticking out to me, like, man, that's crazy, because going, you guys, they're going to get these kids. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, one of our jobs, I know we've talked about, is that these kids go to junior high and high school and they're ready to play. And look, kids are smart. They know, and they know when their parents are talking about, I mean, I know my son hears me when we're all talking on the phone about, okay, where are we going to practice? It's cold outside. Can we do this? You don't think that he's going to recognize that when he gets to that school and stuff like that. So, you guys have had a kid that's come through it, like, as parents. Tell me about it.
We were able to use the Joshua ISD's indoor facilities more than we've used the BISD. Anytime we've really needed it, we've actually got BISD, the Joshua ISD, to let us use it. Burleson.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and Matt's making some comments. I got to read this comment because I was part of this team. It says, coached against 5th grade last season. They were by far the toughest team from a schematic standpoint that we played. Not the best, but definitely the toughest. Good job, coaches. Justin Whitehead, head coach of that team, and I was a defensive person on that team. So thank you for that, Matt. Then he says, now about y'all's field. So Matt, I'm glad you brought that up, because we're currently taking donations for our field right now to fix it. And no, I mean, that's one of the things that coincides with what we're talking about, Matt, is that, our field is owned by us, but it's also managed by us. And, we have a fence that's falling down because of some parking issues with the parking lot we share with the church there. And, we do the best that we can to keep it up. But the reality of it is, as a non-for-profit, we have two choices. We could go charge football players $300 or $400 to play football and probably have less kids sign up and have a great field because we'll have the money, or we get our field in a good enough working condition. And so, Matt, I agree with you, man. And that's, so for you businesses that are listening, the MIFA show averages about 1,500 views per week. I'd be more than happy to give you shouts outs if you would like to donate to Burleson. Give us a shout out. I know Burleson Family Toyota. I actually talked to them today, and they're going to be donating again to us this year. And so, and go from there. And they were a huge sponsor for us last year too. And but guys, we have a lot to manage, and so kind of brings me into that next part. What do we need at Burleson, right? I know we've got potentially some new board members coming. We'll save their names until they become official. But I can tell you this: every Saturday, just to kind of explain a day in the life and taking notes. You guys were doing college trips, football games, senior year. And I know there'd be some Saturdays you come up there, Jerry would be counting the money, closing down the concession. All right, I got to go. And there'd be like 4 or 5 people doing all the work, right? What do we need at Burleson to help us?
I don't think that's just a Burleson thing.
No, probably not.
A lot of boards, and it's no different in any volunteer situation. Even in churches, there's, I think they say 30% of the people do 70% of the work, or maybe 10% of the people do 90% of the work.
80-20.
80-20.
I knew it was
it's the 80-20 rule.
Somewhere in there, and it's just kind of like that. I think that the reason the 4 of us are in here, we all servants heart, and that's why we're out there for the kids and to do that. We feel led to go out and volunteer and help, and we enjoy it. Sometimes it's tough, especially, like Kevin and Cherry last year, there's some played on for Northern Catholic. So it wasn't a lot of Friday night games. You guys had Saturday games, And it's like, how do you balance? Gonna have to coach, both of you coach in cheer and football, and then let's help open the field, and then let's go get this game, and then maybe run back after a game. And by the way, you 2 little girls dealing with also. I mean, it's not like this is the only thing got going on. And so yeah, it's great to have some more help, and we've recruited some more help, I think, for this coming year, and hopefully that will work out for us.
Yeah, it is, and that's one thing I can say. I'm very thankful for the families that we have in Burleson, the parents that we have. We do have parents that will come up there on their off time and help us. Thankful for you guys, and I told y'all this first segment was going to go quick, but when we get back, I'd like to talk a little bit about MIFA. Some of the rules and stuff like that, and wrap up the show. So you guys staying with us after the break, right? All right, it's MIFA Live after the whistle. We'll be back.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
All right, and we are back, and just like that, the break is quick and it is over. Real quick, let me do some house cleaning real fast. And once again, if you are watching online, drop that L for live. If you have questions, please ask away. Burleson is here, and they'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions for you. And if you watch a little bit later, drop an R and even ask your questions, and we can get them to Burleson. But real quick, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is on the live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, go to tuneinjoco.com and download the free app. All of our shows can also be found on any one of your favorite podcast platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and Speaker. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com, and thank you so much for tuning in. This particular episode and more has been brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEX-HELL, 844-839-4245. And also brought to you by Versus Sports. For you coaches out there that have not got your uniforms yet, football and cheer, reach out to them, 817-308-6064. We're here at Burleson. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're talking some differences of BYA and our field, and Matt was talking about field and donations and stuff. And that is one thing I'll say about BYA. My son played with basketball, and I believe it's Ashley who is the president or the vice president of BYA basketball, and she did an amazing job over there. And I know you guys have girls that are, I believe, playing softball over there right now. And BYA definitely does a great job. And one of the things that we like to do here in Burleson, we want our Burleson kids playing sports and doing well. And so hats off to them for definitely the job that they're doing, stuff like that over there. But that being said, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about MIFA, right? So first off, I'll start here with Andy. You were very instrumental. So you are the rules chairman for the MIFA board, but you were also on that core group of people that joined Brazos Valley and MIFA, and I always like in North Central Texas, excuse me. So I always like kind of getting the feeling. So when those conversations started happening, from what I understand, you were a big catalyst in that. What was your vision of joining the two together?
Right. So first, I got to give a shout out to Colt Urban. I see him there. He is
What's
a
up,
fan of the show. Everybody here knows Colt, and yeah, thanks for coming back every time listening to the show. But getting back to your question there, Mike. So it all kind of comes full circle. At the beginning of this, we talked about BYA and the league that they were in. And when Rob and I started, going around and trying to make this what we called at the time, it didn't have a name. We called it Super League, and we went to them first. They had the option to be MIFA, and they turned it down. And I think it worked out for the best. The North Central Texas organizations we came with have been amazing. It's been a great experience. But the vision was, we talked about this in the first show. It was every single year, at the end of the year, it's try to poach towns from whatever other leagues there are. Try to get better competition in your own league. So we took a bigger approach. Let's try to, instead of doing that, let's try to merge a whole league. I know that's one of the first conversations I had was with Doug Frazier out of Aledo, and then David Nance in Aledo was the next person, we talked to. And of course, Aledo was instrumental in, putting this thing together and then going out, sitting and having conversations and beginning with Reggie. Reggie was the president of NCT, and, just coming to that common ground that, we needed, because we looked at the differences between what we did and what they did. And at the end of the day, that we weren't that different. There was a few rules different, and the division structure was, probably predominantly the biggest difference. But, that was, that the reason, get back to your question, the reason why we did this is because we wanted to build something better. We wanted to build something better, and we wanted to do it the right way. Instead of tearing something else down, we wanted to build something up. So
no, that's great. So Coach Kevin, what's it been like? Because, you won't brag on yourself, but I'll brag on you. I mean, you've won how many Super Bowls now?
Me and Andy have won 5 together.
5 together.
Yes, sir.
And y'all's record coming into last year, I know you lost your first game in how many games?
We were 34 wins in a row before we lost.
34 in a row. So what's the competition been like in MIFA?
The competition's awesome in MIFA. It's been great being able to go against other towns and not have to play the same town every year. And you could have a different schedule that you never even see some of the towns in that year. That's what makes this even better, because you don't know every coach as they come through. So
yeah, no, that's for sure. And one of the things that I want to give you guys a chance to also talk about, because every town has talked about in competition. We know every year rules come up, and there's been several conversations. I know Kevin, you've been involved as our town rep in these conversations, and you've brought stuff back to our board, and we've voted on stuff and gone from there. And one of the hotter topics has been this age versus grade, and I think the competition between coaches kind of spun this out of control. I won't. I'll say it was really cool. I got to attend a meeting with 3 gentlemen, and I didn't get their permission to say who the 3 are, but we were there for about 3 hours and hammering some of this stuff out. Well, I say we. I mean, I sat there and drank Dr. Pepper and 8 wings and threw my 2 cents into a group of guys that probably didn't need it, but was there. But hearing everybody's passion for the game, I could really easily see how this thing it's kind of like the telephone game. It started with, let's do something really good and try to make things a little bit more competitive. And it went from that to, you guys are trying to do this, or you guys are trying to do that. So I would like to let Burleson, I know we had the vote on age versus grade, and, whoever wants to take the table, we voted for age during that particular meeting. And I would like to just kind of let it be expounded upon why we feel age is important in football. And not trying to bring up old dirt, but I think it'd be good for Burleson to explain why they voted for age.
I would say the reason why we voted for age is because grade pure sounded awesome. It sounds awesome, but there's still, we used to do 3rd and 4th grade together, or 1st and 2nd grade together. And it's amazing that in grade pure, you can have ages wider than we did with 2 grades. So we were just trying to get to the point where the competition is a little bit more fair and closer to it. I mean, grade pure is awesome whenever everybody starts September 1st,
sure,
August 30th, that is your grade. But I mean, whenever you can come along and have kids that are 24 months older, it just doesn't make as much sense.
So you work, because I know a lot of times this got brought up about, was it for health or was it for this? But you were more on the competition side of it, right? Because we are a rec football league. And so is more of, we feel this would close the competition gap. Now, just playing devil's advocate with you, I mean, you guys win a lot of games. So like, were you trying to get teams to be better than you guys? Or like, because that's one of the things that I could see people saying, and I know you're also looking out for the health of the league, because I know we faced that in 5th grade. And I know that was one of the things that I personally brought to you. I was like, hey, Coach Kevin, like, what can we do here? And so I just want people to understand y'all's heart behind it, because it was about closing the gap and making for rec football, because we're not select, right? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. Well, first, let's point out that there goes Steve. I knew he was a fan of the show. I knew you'd be listening, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
What's up, Steve? And BYU plays H pure. I'm just going to say this. I know that Chad's listening and Reggie listening, and everybody, all the grade pure. I don't know what we call them, grade pure purists. Is that a thing? But
maybe
I'm not going to sit here and bash grade pure. I'm not going to do it. I'm here to build the league up,
right?
And I know that we have our reasons that we've discussed a lot of times, and we spent a lot of hours and hours discussing it. And so I would just say this: I know that there's still work to be done. That the reason that it came up was that some people thought there was some concerns, not just safety, but competitive advantages and whatnot. But again, I'm not gonna rip off Scabs right now. I'm gonna say that we're still gonna be discussing this, and I mean, I think everybody's goal together is to build the best league possible. I don't think we want to see we have some amazing talents in this league. I don't think I've ever been in a league, even with Brazos Valley, where we had this many talents that are just awesome. This great talents. And when we want to build it up and continue to grow it, and that's not going to happen if I sit here and bash grade pure right now. So I'm not going to do it. But I will say that, we're still going to, Chad, I know you're listening. We're going to sit down and talk, and there's some level heads that will prevail, and we'll come together, and, we'll make this thing as best we can. And
I want to say this on that too. That is what I love about MIFA, is that, and I appreciate Steve jumping on, and he says we have lots of fun scrimmaging you guys, great coaches and players on BYA and BBGC. Good job, Elks, and I agree, Steve. We love our Burleson family, even the ones that wear silver and black. We love them all, right? And it's one of those things about MIFA that as a person, I stand back, and a lot of times I like to kind of just look at things, and there is something special about MIFA. Yes. I think we all could agree to that. There is, I believe that as these kinks, and not just age versus grade, but next year there's going to be something else, right? Somebody's going to have something else. And the next year, another town, because as towns get added, and I know everybody's talking about that. I think in 10 years, people, if MIFA can keep this ship with Rob and yourself and you guys as town reps going in the right direction and saying, okay, it's not about, which coach can win the most Super Bowls.
No.
It's not about, and I know I talked to Alito about this, and I'll ask you guys. Alito said, they feel like they have a target on your back. I would assume you guys probably feel the same way with y'all's teams, right? Cherry, obviously, you cheerleading coach for your team. Every time you guys walk out to play, that's the undefeated Elks, right? That's we have to take them down. And so, but that's cool. That's great competition for the kids, right? And the reality of it is, unlike some other organizations, to what Coach Kevin just said, you're not walking out playing, 3 different Burleson teams and, a Fort Worth team and a Dallas team and then Burleson again next week. It's, okay, targets on my back, we got Alito this week. Targets on my back, we've got Azel this week. Targets on my back, we've got Crowley this week. We've got Cleburne this week. We got Joshua this week. That is what makes MIFA special. And I'm glad you said what you said because, Andy, it takes a big person to say, hey, you know what? Sometimes it's good to take a step back and compromise, right? Have some compassion and say, even though I may not get what I want, they may not get what they want, but what's best for everybody to be a super league is to embrace each other and work together. And so with that, moving on to my next question, and I'm going to actually let Miss Cherry start with this because apparently a fight happened today. Not really a fight, but, I was told today that she had an opinion on something, and I'll let her tell the story. But the 6-play rule, right? We've had a lot of people talk about this 6-play rule and, how it's governed, how it's managed. Coach Kevin had an idea that he I guess he thought it was going to be a funny idea, but kind of turned out to be a good idea. But so, Miss Cherry, I want to hear your opinion on the 6-play rule. And feel free to steal Coach Kevin's thunder. You can tell what he said it was about the rule, and then your opinion, and then Coach Kevin, before you respond. Now remember, this show ends in 12 minutes, so you don't want to be sleeping on the couch tonight.
It's all good.
Oh no, it's all good. Those people that know Kevin and I know we are both
Oh,
very competitive and both very passionate people. And I'm not a morning person, so it probably wasn't good to talk about this morning. Anyway, and I just heard little bits and pieces. 6-play rule is important. Yes. I mean, and we know it is. And sometimes some coaches are very ethical in making sure their kids get at least their 6 plays. And then some coaches are accused of not. I'm not going to get into whether they do or not.
Sure.
But, you hear things. Anyway, so the little bit I heard was Kevin was talking about that a parent or a coach or volunteer goes and stands on the other sideline to help monitor and have all the 6-play or the kids that are normally get 6 plays to make sure they all get into the game. And like I said, morning talk, but I was like, who's going to want to go stand over there? Nobody's going to want to do that. They want to watch their kid and they want to be on their sideline. So that's just kind of where it went this morning. But those are just my bits and pieces. He may be able to expound more on that.
So do you want to give your idea or do you want me to give it?
Just the idea of the rule is having, if you got kids that don't start on offense or defense on a team that has 20 plus kids on it, that they stand and be in an area so somebody can monitor whether or not they can get the 6 plays. I know that sounds kind of crazy. That's why I thought it wouldn't go very far. But we all talk about how there is no way we can monitor this. But I've been a part of a league before called Texas School Football. I know they're no longer in existence, but they always had somebody from the league on both sides of the field. So I mean, if we wanted to monitor it and make sure it got done, I know getting more volunteers is almost impossible, but that is one way to do it.
Yeah. And so to kind of expound for our listening audience a little bit, for those of you that don't know, if you haven't listened to the other 3 episodes, or shame on you, but just to catch you back up, MIFA has a rule that each child, because we are a rec football league, is guaranteed 6 plays in a football game. And those are 6 plays that, clock runs. So they're inside the game, that the coach has to put them in. So if your kid signs up for football, he should play, or she should play, because we did have some girls that played last year, 6
Yeah.
plays, right? No matter what happens. So, one of the things that sometimes, we and Chad said, by the way, how'd you know he was listening, Andy?
Oh, I know.
Chad and Andy got like this secret like ESPN thing going on. They know when each other's listening. But one of the things that is unique with MIFA is this 6-play rule. And I guess I shouldn't say unique to MIFA. I think every organization has rules for their kids to play. But sometimes, not calling any coaches out, but games get competitive, and it's the playoffs or it's the Super Bowl, and we'll chalk it up to they forget. Right. Well, like, oh man, I gotta have my starters in there, because no matter what age you're at, there's always a different skill level of kids that are playing at that age, and they're trying to win a game. They're obviously getting that huge, Super Bowl trophy, that Super Bowl ring, whatever, and kids will get going. And so Coach Kevin had the idea of if your kids don't start, if they're not starting on offense or on defense or whatever, they stand over to the left or to the right, and there's a coach or a parent volunteer, and that person, marks the plays. And I think the reason why I thought that idea was kind of a good idea is because another unique thing to MIFA, every game is filmed. And it makes it real easy, especially at the start of the game. And, just throw my 2 cents in that maybe they don't have to stand over there the whole game, but it's just at the start of the first quarter. So those numbers get put on film, and now everybody knows what numbers that they need to go look for, right? It's not, trying to isolate the kids for the entire game. It's like, hey, when the game starts, the kickoff starts in the first quarter. If they're not a starter on offense or defense, go to the left, have a coach stand over there. Those numbers are on film. And now everybody in the league knows who it plays 6 plays on that team, bare minimum. And then at that point in time, it's real easy if some of these coaches want to challenge or unfortunately, you guys get complaints all the time, right? That if a complaint comes in, that you're like, okay, great, let's go review the film. And you can quickly review the film. And now you're not looking at a whole football team, because some of these teams are 25, 35 kids. I mean, what was the largest team we had last year before? Because splits 34?
34 is a split. I think we had a team with, 31 was on a team.
31. I mean, so trying to find a kid that doesn't play in a competitive football game, that's like picking a needle out of a haystack, right? As far as that goes. So that was Coach Kevin's idea on that, and I thought it was a good idea. It might be something he proposed on behalf of Burleson, or they might work through and go from there. My next question is for you guys, and I'd like for each of you to answer. Where do you see Burleson and MIFA growing? Because I'll go back to when we were talking about the school. I think the closest, probably Centennial's the closest Burleson school to winning a state championship. I know a year after I graduated, I think the Elks went to like the Final Four in the playoffs, but I know Centennial's been, but to my knowledge, if they have, it's been a long time, but I don't know Burleson has won a state championship. No. And I know that's something this town would love. What is our goal for our Elks? Because some of them are going to split. Like my son would be a Centennial kid, little Avery, he's an Elk, right? What is our goal? Like, what do we want to see happen? How can we help Burleson? Even though right now I'll say the BISD isn't really helping us, how can we help them win a state title?
I think that we can just keep coaching them, getting them ready to go into the next level. Because, I mean, like one of the greatest things I saw was whenever I watched Burleson versus Centennial last year, and 10 of 11 kids that I had starting on my defense in 2015 were on the field.
That's
on
awesome.
Defense, starting. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to get them ready and have them be ready to play at higher levels. And hopefully the more we have of that, and the more coaches that feel that way, to want to coach them up to get better. They don't care about if we win Super Bowls. We want the kids to be better when they leave our organization.
I think you talk about, success, and as far as, winning state championships or high school level, I think we define success as a kid has a good experience in our youth program. That's what we're trying to get, because there's a lot of those kids. You just said it the other day that after 6th grade, they'll probably never play football again as long as they live. They might play other sports. They might not play any sports at all, but this might be their own experience. And we want it to be a good one. And we want them to have good memories. And good experiences. And that goes for the young ladies that are cheering as well. We want them to have fun, and we want them to make friends for life. And, that's how we gauge success. It's not going to be with wins and losses. It's going to be with, did they enjoy the experience? Did they have fun? Did their parents enjoy the experience? That's what we're after. We're not after,
Exactly. And I was going to say that about cheer, because we're not competing in cheer.
Sure.
We're recreation. Now, some of our girls are on competitive teams also. But my goal, and I know Kim's goal too, is we want to teach our girls to come in and learn how to be a family, learn how to be a team member. And that's a different aspect
awesome.
too. When you don't feel your best, or you're tired, or this, or you'd rather just sit home. No, your squad is depending on you, because we work as a team as well. And like I said, with our age differences, I had girls all the way from 4th through 6th grade on my squad last year. And so we want to be able to support our football team, and we want to be able to work together and give them that foundation where if they're wanting to pursue it at the higher levels, they can, but they learn how to be a team member and to get those basics.
I love it. Coach Kevin?
I also like having kids come up that are like 27 years old. They're kids to me that are still calling me Coach Kevin. I like that. And no one that saying it was fun playing for you and Coach Andy over the years.
Yeah, because you had Duke, right? That played for Burleson. He's University of Texas. I think supposed to be the starting tight end this year, or at least he's going to have an opportunity. And he was just down here back home this week and doing a camp for you guys, right? A strength and conditioning camp out there with all the kids. And honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, but you just asked him, hey, would you like to do something with some of our football players? He said yes. And I remember hearing him talk to you, Coach Andy, Coach Kevin, right? And this is a D1 supreme college athlete, and he's calling you coach the same way that he would call his head coach at the University of Texas. And that, to me, to take this conversation full circle, is why I am forever grateful that I found the Elks. Because, don't get me wrong, I've been fortunate that every year my son has had a chance to win. He's been, last year we were in the playoffs, so we didn't win, but the year before that, with championship game, the year before that, won a Super Bowl. Like, he's been very fortunate, and winning is awesome. But what I can tell you is that I really feel like he's being taught fundamentals that when he gets into junior high and high school, he's going to remember Coach Kevin yelling at him, right? Yeah. He's going to remember, things of that nature. And I think that is awesome. And, we're got about 2 minutes left in the show. I'd like to just talk just briefly about some stuff we have coming up for Burleson, right? So we have 7-on-7. We talked about it. And if you guys just missed it, I'll quickly try to find those dates, but I believe it was March the 25th is the first 7-on-7 game. Obviously, weather permitting, but we should have that game on March the 25th. That is Friday night. And in that, right now, it looks like our hosting sites will be All Saints, Crowley High School, and Eaton High School. 7-on-7 will last for 6 weeks, and the championship tournament will be on May the 6th. I believe I got all that right as far as that goes. So that's awesome. Then I believe in June, we voted on that we're doing the Elks with Pros camp again. Is that correct? I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but for you Elk parents that are listening, I believe it's like the 3rd week in June. Do you have the dates with you or not yet? Not yet. I think it's the 3rd week of June that we're looking at that, but just mark your calendars down for June. For those of you that came out last year, we're going to have professional athletes out there training your kids. And listen, Steve, I know you're on. Please bring some of your BYA kids out if they would like to attend the camp. This is not just for Burleson Elks. This is for anybody that wants to get some great training with some pro athletes. And I believe last year they had a starting Division I college quarterback. We had the former center of the Green Bay Packers out there. SMU starting wide receiver, SMU starting guard. We had a starting wide receiver for Purdue, and then we even had some high school coaches out there too. That was really awesome. July 4th parade, correct? That would be the next thing, and then we'll also probably do another camp in July. You'll be hearing about football signings open up, and then my favorite thing is we're going to have a meet the Elks.
Elks meet and greet.
Elks meet and greet. June
to
as
not
well?
get confused with the high school. Yes, June. And cheer is also working on developing a specialized camp we've got some things in the works for that coming up.
In 2 minutes, we couldn't even get everything in. For you Burleson parents, check out, just please follow the Facebook page. Guys, thank you so much for being on today. I love you guys, man. Burleson Elks, have a great season this year. This has been My For Live After Whistle. Thank you.
Thank you.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.